we're nearly there. All we need to do now is set the reeds up and then tune them. Some examples of things we'll be going to try and fix. I hope my camera's microphone is clever enough to pick this up. This pair of reeds has got a slow starting reed, so if you play it gently you only get a single reed. But when you increase the pressure, the second reed joins in. That's to do with the setting up of the reeds. So we'll go through and check that they're all set up correctly. It's slightly iterative that you set them up, tune the reeds, and the act of tuning can affect the setup, so you then have to go through and check the setup, which in turn could affect the tuning, and round we go. This is a Hohner, so it should sound find some. That sounds about right for Hohner tremolo. Doesn't have to be set up like that. I like Hohner tremolo. It's a Hohner box. Plays the noise I want, so that's what I'm going to be aiming for. I've got a chart which I'll link to in the comment below the video with the setups that I use. But the things we're going to try and get rid of are too much tremolo, and too little tremolo. One of the first things I do before I start tuning is to check the reed block foot, the sole, is flat. Otherwise they do tend to bow that way, which lifts the centre part away and can give you slight air leaks. I do it by running a ruler along the bottom and holding it up to some daylight, which would be hard to show. Have I got enough hands? And as you can see, massive amount of daylight. To cure that, I have a sheet of glass, because that's a nice flat surface, from an old fridge. Some 80 grit sandpaper. And check. To do my tuning, I use my little tuning bench, which is basically a set of bellows, a wind chest and a hole. Underneath the tape there's a pair of holes which we may get to later on. It just allows you to sound the reeds. Thing that did my head in for a good while is the fact that, despite the fact I'm opening the bellows, that is the push note, and closing the bellows sounds the pull note. It's because the reed block is on the outside rather than on the inside facing up. All it means is every now and again you'll be tuning a reed going by opening the bellows so it's a pull reed, and you adjust the pull reed and you adjust the pull reed, and then you realise you're actually should be adjusting the push reed because it's a tuning table. So we'll go through first and check the basic setup of all the reeds. So just sound them quietly. Right, this is the one we listened to earlier in the box, where one reed was sounding before the other. If you open the bellows gently, you can hear the air before you hear the reed. And then the reed joins in. This is due to this gap here between the reed tip and the reed plate. All the tips have to sit proud of the plate, otherwise the reed won't start. But that gap there is too big. So all we do is bend the reed back in. A good starting point is for the reed tip to be the gap to be about the same size as the thickness of the reed itself. So now hopefully this reed should sound straight away. And that one sounds just a bit. So we need to go through and check all the reeds. The exterior reeds, the pull reeds, the reeds you can see are the pull reeds. The reeds inside are the push reeds, or the reeds behind the valves. If you find one on a push, this one here for instance, it's a bit blowy. What I take my reed scraper, but any pointy object will do, and push the reed up from the inside. So I need to go through all the reeds, all 10, 20, 40 reeds on this block, and check the setting, check the set of the reeds before we look at the tuning of the reeds. Be back soon. Right, tuning. I use Dirk's accordion tuner, which is grand if you are doing a lot of stuff, but a bit expensive for somebody only doing the odd one or two boxes. It's circa £100. I put it up on the screen of my computer along with my tuning charts, which gives me the individual offsets for 3 basic tunings, but more of that later on. A cheaper way to do it is with, when I can find it, the Peterson Strobo Soft software, which will run on Android or iPhones. Perfectly usable. It's just I prefer Dirk's because it's up on the big screen. I use this old Zoom microphone plugged into the PC. Also need a selection of tools, file. These are or this is a Swiss. Any minute now this sentence is going to form perfectly in my brain and come out in one beautiful utterance. They are for sharpening chainsaw blades. I knew I'd get there eventually. Available from Axminster Tools. They're Swiss Valbor or some such. I'll try and remember to put a link down below. Little wooden handle, otherwise you end up stabbing yourself. This is my reed scratcher. Basically it's an old 1/8 inch drill that's been ground off. So it's tool steel, which you keep sharp with a little diamond file. So every so often just square the end off. Every so often just square the end off. And this is used, so obviously file is used for taking metal off the tip end of a reed to make it go sharp. The scraper I use to take metal off the rivet end of the reed, which will make the reed go flat. Also need a reed support or pinger. Just brass, thin, I can't remember what it was, 0.5 I think. Scalpel, always useful to have a scalpel for pinging things, cleaning things, scraping things, stabbing yourself. And a modified reed lifter. When you have to operate on the inside reeds, so the reeds behind the valve, you need to be able to pop them up above the surface. There are various ways of doing it. One's the German way and one's the Italian way, I can't remember which is which. You can use a very thin tipped pinger and you can go down under the tip and ping it back up. That looked seamless. It took me hours and hours to be able to do that. That's one way. If the other one was German, this is Italian, or the other way round. This type of reed lifter I find virtually unusable. The idea is you go down on the push side of the reed you want to lift and then turn and use this pointy bit here to lift the other reed up. That all works. Getting the tool back out again doesn't seem to be achievable without damage, so I've never used one. Well, I don't say I've never used one. I very rarely use one. What I do, you may recognise this is one of the previous ones I've cut up a bit, and I go in, so if I want to lift this reed here, go in from underneath and seamlessly pops out. You can then slide the reed support underneath, and there we and do filing or scratching, whichever it is you wish to do. Try it again. So lift the reed, go around and swap that for that. Hopefully you can see that. So that's all the tools you need. All you need now is hours of patience and practice. My recommendation is you buy really cheap piano accordions off of eBay, and you can get them for not many pounds. They're really useful to take apart into 1,000 pieces because you get loads of small screws and wire and springs and things that might come in useful. one day, plus you get loads of reeds on which you can practice. The other advantage is you kill a piano accordion. As I've said in a previous video, this in Hohner world, if you hold the reed block that way, so high reeds at that end, low reeds at this end, this side will be the side you tune to pitch. If it's the other way around with the lows at that end, the highs at this end, this is the side you tune to tune sharp to get the tremolo. School of thought that says if we want, pick a D, any D, that D there. So I'm going to tune that side to pitch and that side for Hohner to plus 20 cents. Cents is a measurement of the gap to the next reed. So it's 20% of the gap between D and E flat or D sharp, depending on how you look at it. Luckily all the tuning meters talk in cents, so you don't have to hold any of this information in your head. But as I was saying, I'm going to tune this to pitch, or 0 cents and plus 20. There's a school of thought for the Viennese type tuning that says tune this to minus 10 and this to plus 10. Just for an example, we'll tune this reed here. So if I just sound the reed, it's saying about plus 6 cents. So we need to flatten the reed. So I put a support underneath the reed, take my reed scraper, and starting at about 2/3, put a scratch down the reed. Sound it again. About 3.6, 3.7. Too much, minus 3. This is something which you will do a lot of until you get lucky. Now we are going to take the file and take a little bit of metal off the tip. I find it's always best when first addressing a set of reeds, because they all appear to be just slightly different, to do a very small step to see how the reeds react. Getting there. That will do nicely. You come to a point where you've got to consider how close you're going to get, because all the reeds are variable and they will vary with the amount of pressure being played. And currently this is doing plus half a cent, near enough, which is, so we're playing a D, which is 293.7 hertz, and it's actually playing 293.6, so it's wrong by 0.1 of a hertz. I'm not convinced anybody in the whole world could tell that by ear. I may be wrong. It has been known. So we tune that reed. Because we played around with the reed and scraped it and filed it, just worth checking that the set is right still. But it plays almost instantly with very little pressure. So that's one reed done. We'll do an inside, which is the F sharp on that plate. Appears to be very sharp. You may notice when I'm sounding a reed, when I pick it up, my inclination is to put my finger on the reed that I've been sounding, so that you don't make the mistake, which you will, of sounding this reed and then adjusting this one, and then sounding this one going, but I've done some adjustment, nothing's happened. You go back and adjust this one, and then you sound this one, and you end up with this reed really, really sharp, and this one still where it was, because you were tuning the wrong reed. Never tune drunk. So I've got to scrape some metal off this inside reed. I shove the tool underneath the valve, being careful not to bend the valve, and then scrape away gently. You can do this without supporting the reed, as long as you're at a nice shallow angle to the reed. Slightly overshot again. So I'll push my reed lifter through. Take the file, and take just a little bit of metal off, and hopefully I think that's close enough. So we go through the whole of the pitch side, tune everything to pitch, and then we do tremolo side. So currently that's a bit fast, and that's really slow. So I will tune the D reed on this, D and F sharp reed on this side, to see if we can get them to sound how we'd hope. So for a D, in my tuning scheme for a Hohner, the D4 has plus 20 cents, and it's currently about 29. So the overall sound is too fast. So again, we're going to scrape some metal off. $23. So we've gone to possibly still a little bit too much. Usually goes better than this. I put it down to the pressure of the camera and doing commentary. So that should now sound about right. And indeed, again, listening to that, I can tell that it's about right for a Hohner, because I've tuned lots. And I know what it sounds like outside the box. So now we'll do the other side. F sharp 4, which should be 18 cents. And it's currently 22. So, I said earlier that this tuning table has a 2-hole position as well as a 1-hole. It's so that you can sound both reeds together. So the tremolo sounds about the same on there as you're going. Now it's just a matter of going through. I've tuned all this side, I've got to tune all that side, then we'll put it in the box and have a listen to what it sounds like in the box. But I'm going to go away now and finish all this tuning, because that's going to take me an hour or two, and my camera batteries won't last that long. So I'll see you in a while.